Yo. So like relax, I'm spilling these facts as long as you feel them. To the day that I drop, you'll never say that I'm not killing them. Cause when I am not, then I'ma stop pinning them. And I am not hip-hop, and I'm just not Eminem. Subliminal thoughts when I'ma stop spinning them. Women are caught in wax, spinning in hawk venom. Adrenaline shots, a penicillin could not get the ailment to stop. A lot of still is just not real.
Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier for the lightweight title. God damn it, I love this sport. Dustin Poirier gets his one last shot at greatness against the protege of the man that beat him the last time he stepped up to the plate. The guy has dynamite in his hands, unbreakable will, and the best boxing in the UFC. In particular, his defense with no threat of a takedown is beautiful to watch. But here's the thing, there is a threat of a takedown. A massive, massive threat. And that changes the entire dynamic of this fight. Islam Makhachev, the protege of the greatest lightweight of all time, Khabib Nurmagomedov. He may not be quite the fighter that his mentor was, but his resume is arguably better. Dober, Hooker, 2 wins over a prime Volk. The guy submitted Charles Oliveira, for Christ's sakes. Khabib started it, but Islam truly finalized Father Plan.
Ислам может выиграть остальных. Более голодный, который должен прийти на замену Хабибу. И при этом я подтверждаю класс своего тренерского умения. Значит, Хабиб уходит без проигрыша, и тут появляется новый чемпион, опять мой.
You can call me Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
Poirier has his work cut out for him. I've always viewed Dustin as something of a real-life Rocky, and this gives me a ton of flashbacks to Rocky IV. It's the hard-working, tough-as-nails American up against the seemingly unstoppable Russian killer. Dustin's talked about his experience against Khabib and the shell shock of how fundamentally flawless the guy was on the ground.
If you were to say somebody who you went up against that ground game is just
Khabib Nurmagomedov. Yeah.
Would you put him like in a league of his own? A lot of people call him as a league of his own type of guy. Would you put
Never felt anything like it, you know, and I have 46 fights. I've fought all kind of different people, all kind of different styles. Been around the world training in gyms. This guy's good.
What's unique about it? Tell us about it.
His understanding of his weight distribution, where my weight needs to be to keep me up, to build back up, and his understanding of grappling is impressive. The best I've ever felt, the best I've ever seen. You know, the guy's 30-0. In MMA, that's a hard thing to do. There's so many variables. There's so many ways to lose, and to be 30-0 against the best guys in the world is, you know, very impressive. But his understanding of what I needed to do and what positions I needed to be in to advance, he was steps ahead of me.
But this isn't Khabib. Islam might have a better resume, but I don't personally believe he's as good of a fighter as Khabib. Nurmagomedov was almost always tactically perfect. It seemed like he had every opponent scouted out to a T. It's one of the reasons his plan A just seemed to work almost every time.
I study everybody extensively, and then I come up with their patterns. I figure out the way they flinch. I figure out their first favorite punch, their second favorite punch, their third, their favorite combinations, their setups to their takedowns, when they clinch, what side their head's going to be on. Literally everything. I know everything about every opponent, what side they're going to shoot, whether it's going to be a head inside, head outside. What am I going to do about that, you know? I figure out everything, why they shoot, what area of the cage they like to shoot.
It's not just about his wrestling talent, it's how he incorporated it. Dustin Poirier has had a whopping 30 UFC fights. If he can beat Islam, it'll pass Charles Oliveira's record of 28 for most wins without an undisputed title. And what a ride it would be. I think people forget, this dude fought all the way back in the WEC. Few men have fought as much high-level competition as Dustin, ever. Can Dustin capture lightning in a bottle and become the fighter we all know he's capable of being? Or will he become the next Joseph Benavidez, another one of the greatest of all time to never capture undisputed gold? Ironically, I think we as fans feel more pressure here than Dustin does. Poirier's talked extensively about his change in mindset after the Gaethje loss.
Because I don't know how many more runs, how many more chances I have left. That's why I kind of embraced this whole fight week. Even in the tunnel before I walked out, this training camp, like I was just more grateful for everything because I really mean it. Like every time I do this could be the last time, and I just want to enjoy those feelings and those emotions. I was telling my wife, how grateful am I to be able to experience these emotions.
He admits he doesn't know how much longer he has left in the sport, that any fight nowadays could be his last, but that mindset has, in a way, made him more grateful for the situation he finds himself in. Dustin has virtually no chance on paper. His takedown defense isn't super great, he's been dominated by Dagestani wrestlers in the past, and his tendency to jump guillotines borders on compulsion. But like I've said before, they don't fight on paper, they fight in the cage. Dustin Poirier is Mr. Bounce Back. Few guys learn from their mistakes like him. After fighting himself on the receiving end of the Dagestani handcuff against Khabib, Dustin pulled it out against Hooker in his next fight. After getting his calf sliced against Jim Miller, he pulled it out against McGregor and used it to put him away inside 2. I'm predicting that Islam will win this fight, but Dustin is by no means a lamb. He's a cornered dog. He's got the best boxing in the UFC outside of maybe Volk. The longer this fight stays on the feet, the more his chances improve. He has the tools, the talent, and the grit to win. Everyone knows he's good enough. But then again, so was Joseph Benavidez. So was Uriah Faber. Chael Sonnen's one of the best MMA wrestlers of all time. Wonderboy Thompson's one of the best strikers in UFC history. Anthony Johnson and Shane Carwin walked so Francis Ngannou could run through Tyson Fury.
I want to extend my heartfelt apologies for your loss at WrestleMania.
There isn't a single fight in MMA I want to see more right now. Does the underdog American finally capture that elusive undisputed gold? Or does the seemingly unbeatable Russian champ put him down for good? For Dustin, it's step up or step aside.